last season, the A's and their fans started believing this team was for real. It was a 4-game sweep of the Bronx Bombers in mid-July that catapulted this new generation of green and gold as they grew up quickly, gaining confidence series by series on the way to capturing the AL West. Last night in Game 1 of this year's installment with the Pinstripes, the A's shine once again behind brilliant defense, an unexpected hero who drove in 4 of the team's 6 runs, and a 40-year-old pitcher who is putting together a bid for an all-star spot. Tonight, the two teams are right back at it again. The Athletics will look to win their 5th straight at home against the Yankees. Game 2, A's Yankees, and it starts right now. Beautiful night for baseball. The Yankees are in town. That means there should be a good crowd on hand. As the A's, they have won 9 consecutive home games. They'll try to make it 10 tonight and continue their great play. It's the A's hosting the Yankees. Game 2 coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Great pitching last night by Bartolo Colon. Tonight, it's Dan Straily. And Ray, how much do you think it has to do with Straily pitching so well? The fact that he knows he's in the rotation. It doesn't matter if he has a tough outing. He's going to stay in the rotation.
That's a great point because he actually said that when Brett Anderson went on the disabled list. Then he knew he was going to be pitching every 5th day. You go back to Arlington, Texas about 5 starts ago. He was outstanding, working very aggressively in his last couple of starts against the White Sox. Could have had a win. He had a couple of no decisions, but he's using all of his pitches very effectively. And I think the biggest key for him, he's working very quickly. But the point well taken, he's very confident that he knows how to pitch, but he also knows he's going to be in the rotation.
Yankees will send the right-hander Phil Hughes to the mound, and Ray Hughes in his career has at times been a little inconsistent, but against the A's lately, he's been very good.
You know, he followed CC Sabathia in New York. He had a 4-hit shutout for 8 innings, then turned it over to the bullpen, but he is a quality pitcher. He has 4 quality pitches. And for him on that Saturday afternoon, he had all of his pitches working, spotting his fastball. You can see some great breaking pitches. Phil Hughes knows how to pitch. It's just a matter, sometimes they wonder which Phil Hughes they're going to get.
All right, so that's your pitching matchup. Straily for the A's, Hughes for the Yankees. A's won last night 6-4, holding on in the 9th inning to get the win. When we come back to the Coliseum, we'll have the lineups and then the first pitch for Game 2 of the series. It's coming up next.
Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax.
Welcome back to the O.co Coliseum as we get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the A's and the Yankees. A's won last night 6-4 as that game came right down to the final pitch. A's hang on and won it. And tonight, Dan Straily and the A's will try to make it 2 in a row over the Yankees. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 69 degrees, so another nice night at the ballpark. Just a slight breeze and a good crowd on hand. Not quite as big as last night's 27,000, so it would be less than that, but certainly a beautiful night for baseball. Let's look at the lineup for the New York Yankees. And it starts with Brett Gardner, then Cano, Teixeira, Hafner. Wells is in the lineup, Vernon Wells. Youkilis at third, Ichiro is in right, and Nix and Austin Romine down at the bottom.
Dan Straily, who has had one start against these Yankees, that was at Yankee Stadium on the 5th of the month of May, and had a no decision. But Dan Straily has been pitching very well lately. A couple of no decisions against the White Sox, but this is always a good time for Dan Straily because he loves to pitch and works hard in between starts. He's got a lot of special people to watch him tonight on hand. His father, his grandfather, his father-in-law, in addition to his wife. So a lot of people on hand to watch Dan Straily try to beat the Yankees, and the A's try to win their second in a row.
The defense behind Straily tonight. A few changes with some of the injuries. Smith at left, Young in center, Reddick in right, Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Moss on the infield, and Jaso is the catcher. So no Coco Crisp and no Yoenis Cespedes tonight. They'll sit out, get themselves healthy, and get back in the lineup soon. It doesn't look like either injury is real serious, but I want to make sure it doesn't turn into being something serious. So Gardner steps in. Lots of sunshine out in right field, just a shade of sun in center field. That doesn't make any sense, though, a shade of sun, does it?
Yeah, it's
a little bit of sun. How about A's record with Crisp and Cespedes in the lineup, 27-8. Without those two in the lineup, 12-19.
Well, 13-19 is going to sound pretty good.
First pitch of the ball game.
It's after tonight.
Is a strike to Gardner, so we're underway.
First pitch, 7-0.
A's come in 39-27, of course, tied with the Rangers for first place in the AL West. Yankees are 37-27. And Gardner turns around and heads right back to the dugout. He knew that he was out on a little pop-up in foul territory.
And a tightness in the hamstrings for Yoenis Cespedes coming out of the box, and watch him as he hits the bag. Just kind of barely touched the top of the bag, left hamstring. So I'm sure he would like to play, but you know, Cespedes, of course, interpreter Ariel Prieto probably telling him, suave, take it easy. And then came out of the game and is not playing tonight. So this multiple injuries per game is not good. Yeah, it's a 19-inning game. 3 guys went on the DL. Let's hope the precautionary status is okay for the 2 guys who are missing tonight. And plus, with the right-hander pitching, that means the whole lineup changed. John Jaso catching Dan Straily. The last 3 starts have been caught by Derek Norris because of the lefties.
Sogard gets up, throws, and he throws it past Moss, and Cano thought about going to second, but Jaso, with great hustle, kept it from going into the dugout. Remember, if it goes in the dugout, it's an automatic second base for Cano, and Ray, you've talked about that a lot. The catcher's got to hustle and back up, and you really got to do it here because there's no railing.
And plenty of time for Sogard, probably a lot more time than he thought, than a bad throw to Brandon Moss, but you're right. The one time as a catcher you don't back up, we saw it in Houston. Catcher did not, ball went to the dugout, and this one heading to the dugout. John Jaso hurriedly getting in front. Cano started to go, but Jaso was there, keeps the double play in order, and that is really a play that I think Eric Sogard would like to have over again. When you dive for a ball, probably don't think you have as much time, but remember, you're playing second base. There's a lot more time than on the left side of the infield.
So it goes as an error on Sogard.
I'd say that's a good call because, you know, even though he kind of slid, he had plenty of time. And You know, it was a play that he makes all the time. Nice angle going after the ball. But for some reason decided to get up and throw quickly.
A little bit low. And the count is 2-0 to Mark Teixeira, hitting 195 with 3 home runs. So 2 batters into the game. Jaso has got a dirty uniform.
And that's when a pitcher is very proud of his catcher to make a play like that, especially to keep double play in order.
There's a strike, 2-1. We said the Yankees 37-27, and they're 18-14 on the road, so they've been a good road team this year. They trail the Red Sox by 2 games in the East. And they are sitting on a long road trip, and it's the, as we like to say, the old-time West Coast swing for the Yankees.
Shaky fastball a little bit upstairs after a good fastball down on the corner. And Mark Teixeira a little bit late with a swing. And a fastball away.
And that one's looped. Sogard's going to get back, and he's got it. So that's out number 2. AL East updated standings. The Orioles lost to the Angels, beat the Orioles 9-5. So the Orioles now 3 back. Rays are playing as we speak. CC Sabathia not at his best last night. He took the loss. Of course, the 3-run homer to Derek Norris, the big hit that he allowed.
I saw CC and I said, you know, it's not Yankee Stadium. And he said, yeah, I realized that after last night. I said, you mean you didn't realize before? As many games as he's pitched here, but as we said, Yankee Stadium, 389 left center. Jagged edge here between 362, 388, but it went over the 362 mark over the jagged edge for a 3-run home run. That's the difference in pitching Yankee Stadium, where you have the huge outfield, especially left center to right center. You can pitch in that direction.
So 0-2 to Travis Hafner, hitting .237. He hit the ball last night that ended the game to the wall in left center field.
Said he did not think he got enough, but he was thinking that it'd be up on the wall, up on top over Seth Smith. But nice play by Seth Smith to end the game, and Grant Balfour with a sigh of relief. He probably never thought he was going to be in the game, considering the lead in the 9th inning.
So 1-2 with Cano still at first. And that one's hit towards Sogard, who's playing out in shallow right field. He's got it, side retired. So an error does not cost the A's, and Phil Hughes is set to go to work on the Athletics. Hughes, and here is the lineup for the Athletics tonight. Jaso, Smith, Lowry, Donaldson, Reddick, Moss, Young, Sogard, and Fryman. So the lineup, much different look tonight.
And it's Phil Hughes, who pitched very well against the Athletics back on May the 4th. The only game the Yankees won at Yankee Stadium on the weekend, the Saturday afternoon. Retired the last 10 batters he faced, going 8 innings, striking out 9, giving up just 4 hits. In his 8 innings of shutout baseball, got some offensive support, very aggressive with his fastball. And when you throw 4 quality pitches, as he does, he's got a chance to be good, and seems to be very good whenever the team loses the night before or the game before, which was the case in New York.
So Jaso steps in that leadoff spot, taking over for Coco Crisp. Jaso, Smith, and Lowry. And a high fastball, swing and a miss. And there's Coco, who's going to, I guess, if absolutely needed, could probably pinch hit tonight. I'm sure Bob Melvin would just as soon stay away from he and Cespedes. Ray just said it. 19-9 in his last 34 starts following a Yankee loss.
But amazingly, he follows CC Sabathia, so you would not think there's going to be that many losses in the game before. But as he's turned out against the A's this summer, this season, back-to-back starts by CC, shut out New York 2-0 last night, 6-4. Both starters left when it was 6-0 favor the A's.
3-1. And Hughes is coming off a very good start on Thursday in Seattle, 7 innings, gave up 1 unearned run. And he got the win. Coming right at him with fastballs, and now it's 3-2. .274 the average for Jaso with a home run. Jam shot right to the shortstop, Nix, and that's out number 1. Rest of the Yankees defense in the outfield, Wells, Gardner, and Ichiro. And then on the infield, Youkilis, Nix, Cano, and Teixeira. Austin Romine is the catcher. So Ichiro in right field tonight. He was in left field last night for most of the game.
Kind of his more familiar position in right field, at least for the Mariners for many years.
Here's Smith. Swing and a miss. So Hughes pumping the fastball in there early.
Yankees must have watched the Houston series with the shift because Seth Smith again having the shift and what, although Youkilis, the third baseman, still started to back up. Remember the great bunt by Seth Smith in the 2nd inning, opened up a 6-run inning.
Five home runs, 24 RBIs for Seth Smith. And this one's popped up left side, shallow left field. Wells still coming in, and it falls. And the throw to second base, and Smith is going to be out by 5 feet. Youkilis, who was playing shortstop on the shift, he never really went after it. And Wells had to come a long way, and he just couldn't get to it. Not sure what Youkilis was doing. You see Youkilis go back, and then
Wells gave up. You can see he gave up, but the ball popped right up into his glove, and Seth Smith trying to go for 2. Actually, it was running hard, but stop. And then Wyman Slide tried to do a little dance around the tag. Didn't happen.
I think I heard Ty Waller say the same thing you just said. Stop. But sometimes those balls they kick away from the outfielder. Somebody just happened to pop right up to Wells, and he made an accurate throw.
Well, it happened last night with Overbay in right field and helped the A's score a run. But it's not as if Smith was not running hard. Nope. He always runs hard, and no matter how well or not well the ball is hit.
Bit outside, and the count 2-1 to Lowry, hitting .301 with 3 home runs, 24 runs batted in. 1 for 4 last night. Lowry has 9 career at-bats against Hughes. He's 1 for 9. He's walked once and struck out a couple of times.
Well, with the right-handed pitcher, Jed Lowry back to shortstop, Eric Sogard to second. So that's the change for Lowry, going between the two positions depending on the opposing pitcher, left or right.
3-2 pitch is foul back. Cespedes has seeds in his hand, so he's ready to watch the full 9 from the dugout. Another 3-2 pitch, and it's inside, and Lowry has a 2-out walk. So Donaldson will step in, hitting in that cleanup spot tonight.
Taking fourth position, third baseman, number 20, Josh Donaldson.
So Donaldson steps in, hitting .322 with 9 homers and 42 runs batted in. Fouls that one straight back. Donaldson was 1 for 4. He doubled and scored a run last night. Lowry, decent lead at first. Swing and miss. One of the things we've admired about Josh Donaldson this year is how consistent he's been at the plate. Numbers back it up. He hit .314 in April. He hit .330 in May. He's hitting .325 in June.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do, because a lot of times a guy has a good month, he may struggle a little bit after that.
That's why he's been mentioned as a possible all-star.
Yeah,
now
no
people
question.
start to say, when was the last time he's had a position player as an all-star? Of course, we know that's Ramon Hernandez.
Look, I mean, now he's in the top 10 in all those categories.
That last number, 13 go-ahead RBI. That's a big number. The thing that Phil Hughes does, you can see his delivery kind of pushes the ball a little bit, and to John Jaso, with the exception of the 3-2, pitches were elevated, and a lot of times you see a pitcher, instead of getting his elbow, his arm up, has a tendency to drop and push the ball, and as a result, pitches are elevated.
Donaldson checks his swing. So the count even at 2-2.
First slider that he's seen in the 4 pitches, and takes it nicely. Is almost goes to the Adrian Beltre knee drop. Not a lot of curves or changeups, his fastball, sliders.
And there it was, and that was a good one. Donaldson swings and misses. So he's getting a hit and a walk, but Smith thrown out at second. They do not score in the first.
As all season long.
Saturday, July the 27th, and right now the A's are turning back ticket prices to that game. 500 Plaza level tickets are available for the 1969 price of, listen to this, $3 at oaklandathletics.com/1969. Follow the instructions on that page to purchase the $3 tickets. Hurry, this offer is only available online and tickets will go fast. Visit oaklandathletics.com/1969 to take advantage of this ticket offer. Where were you in 1969 where ticket prices were $3? BI's trying to remember, isn't he?
69.
Downtown Cleveland.
You were a big leaguer, man.
Downtown Cleveland.
Much probably looking at your baseball card.
A much different downtown Cleveland then than now. And Straily with a good sneaky fastball. Back to back to Vernon Wells.
So Wells, Youkilis, and Ichiro, and Wells waves at a pitch way out of the strike zone. And there's strikeout number 1 for Straily.
That's a lesson right there, Kai, to be learned for a lot of pitchers. If you get 2 strikes on a hitter, get him to chase a pitch out of the strike zone. Comes in as a slider, might look like a good strike as it approaches the plate, but way outside. And Vernon Wells started his swing. He's kind of flailed at a pitch. Maybe did not know where the pitch was, but clearly out of the strike zone. And that's what you try to do with 2 strikes on a hitter, an aggressive hitter at that.
So 1 out for Youkilis, hitting .240 with a couple of home runs. Had a hit last night, 1 for 4. Just the 27th game that Youkilis has played in. Good curveball, but it's low. Rookie strikeout leaders in the American League. Straily tied with Tepich, trailing Grimm, a couple of Texas Rangers. See, Carter Capps is in there. Carter Capps is a reliever.
Yeah. Throw hard.
That one's driven to right. Reddick gets under it. He's got it, and that's out number 2.
You know, it looked like Josh Reddick didn't have sunglasses, and he just happened to go deep enough to right field to get in the sun. He's actually positioning in the shade, but Youkilis at least drove the ball deep enough back in that little sunny area towards the morning track. And Josh Reddick, that's when you're good. When you can put your glove up and say, the sun's too bright, turn my head away, and the ball was right in the pocket.
So 2 outs for Ichiro Suzuki. Hitless last night. 0 for 4. In a slump right now. Just 2 hits in his last 17 at bats. He was not hitting that well with the Mariners when he got traded last year to the Yankees, but in the 67 games he played with the Yanks last year, he hit .322, so he looked a lot better with the Yankees than he did with the Mariners. And he was a free agent at the end of last year, and the Yankees liked him enough, liked what he did for them. They gave him a 2-year contract. So, got a couple years on a contract with the Yankees.
A 2-year contract for Ichiro. Nick Swisher ended up getting a 5-year contract. He, of course, as you mentioned last night, the number of players no longer with the Yankees. The active hit leaders, and Derek Jeter at the top.
So 2,657 hits for Ichiro.
That's U.S. hits, right?
U.S. hits. Give him another one. 2,658. Yeah, that's U.S. hits. Let's not forget that he had 1,278 hits in Japan.
Well, that's just the slasher. I mean, nobody better than Ichiro. Just almost, I don't even know how you pitch a guy. Just try to throw him anything. This pitch is an outside breaking ball, and he just, at least it didn't bounce and he got a base hit. Ball was elevated enough, but just shot it out to left field. Might try to steal it back now. Tell us about Exmo.
It's brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. That's what I can tell you.
That was a good swing at Exmo by Ichiro. Something you don't want to try at home, but not too many can do what Ichiro can do with the bat.
Nix goes after the first pitch, fouls it back. But we have seen Ichiro a lot, Ray, and the one thing that at times has puzzled us a little bit, he's a good base stealer, maybe not quite as great as he used to be, but times where it seems very obvious that he should try to steal, he doesn't go.
Right now.
Like right now.
Yeah, exactly. 2 outs, and Jason Nix, who probably better suited to get a base hit, but not even going to do that.
And side retired. So a hit and a runner left, and we're headed to the bottom of the second. It'll be Reddick, Moss, and Young. No score.
In HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. It is everywhere. A lot of baseball, especially now with the draft over last week and players signing and moving on to play in various levels. Fun time when you get drafted and you sign and then you put in that first pro uniform. First ever.
It sounds like the A's #1 draft pick is going to be here Friday. I'm going to say Friday. He is signed, sealed, and delivered. Billy McKinney, the high school outfielder from Texas. Oh, 2 to Reddick, followed by Moss and Young here in the bottom of the second. .185, a couple of home runs for Reddick. Hitting in the 5th spot tonight.
And we were talking about the confidence of Dan Straily pitching every 5th day. I think the confidence for Josh Reddick getting back to 3rd spot in the lineup. He's felt so comfortable there last year when he hit 32 home runs, and while he struggled a little bit this year, but I think you might see a change in him, and eventually I think Bob Melvin will put him back there. Right now moving up, hitting 5th against the right-hander. Of course, he's played against the lefties as well.
There's a shot to right field, a base hit. So leadoff single, and this was a very special moment before tonight's game, right?
Yeah.
That right there is a,
for Nick LeGrand.
what do they call it? Teleoptic first pitch.
Yeah, first ever
pitching machine.
Young man's in Kansas City, and the robotic pitching machine on the mound here is he threw the ball from Kansas City, and that was a great moment.
Ryan Cook talked to him, young man, Nick LeGrand, who's 13 years old. And unfortunately, he was diagnosed with aplastic anemia. And that one's hit to right field. And going back is Ichiro, and he's going to look up, and it is gone.
How about a dink for everybody, huh?
Moss, a 2-run homer, and the A's lead 2-0.
Come on, Ichiro. Josh Reddick was going to tag up and go to second on the fly ball to right field. You know, when it left his back cap, I thought he's got a pretty good chance to get out of here. Then off speed, and Brandon Moss, I think he thought he got it. And Ichiro in front of the warning track decided to camp, and like he was going to catch the ball. Josh Reddick going back to the bag. Ichiro's there, and then turn around. He wanted deep and play it off the wall, but the ball went over the wall, and that quickly a 2-run home run.
So number 10 for Moss. He's now got 32 RBIs, and the A's, just like last night, jump out ahead early.
His last home run, Cap in Milwaukee, the 12,000th home run in A's history. And he's got the 7,000, 12,000, and a big one tonight. And if there's anybody looking forward to right-handed pitching, Brandon Moss, Seth Smith, Josh Reddick, Eric Sogard.
This one has a chance to fall, but Ichiro hustles in. So that is out number 1.
I'm just glad Brandon Moss didn't pass Reddick, because
that would not have been good.
No. And Reddick looked like he wanted to stop and shake his hand. Good at home plate. But, you know, there are times that when a hitter hits the ball and he's so much looking at the flight of the ball, he forgets where the base runner is in front of him. Exactly. And unfortunately, Moss stopped and was able to, well, Josh Reddick was standing on the bag because he couldn't touch it until he left.
13th home run allowed for Phil Hughes in what is 67 innings now. So that's a pretty high amount for Hughes. 1-1 the count to Sogard. Teixeira scoops it up, and he'll trot to the bag for out number 2. Hey, Ray, to finish the story on Nick LeGrand, who has a rare blood disorder. He's from Kansas City. A huge baseball fan, an A's fan. And part of the great story is that Ryan Cook said, hey, when the A's go to Kansas City, which is a little bit later on in the season, I want to stop and see you so we can spend some time together.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm sure both Ryan Cook and the 13-year-old Nick LeGrand will enjoy that.
Well, Ryan Cook did a great job, and it's not easy to grab a microphone down on the field when you know there's a delay, and you're talking, and you hear yourself talking, and you listen, and nothing comes out until about a second or two later. But he did a great job in introducing, and I'm sure looking forward to seeing Nick when we do go to Kansas City.
Swing and a miss by Fryman, and it's aplastic anemia is the very rare blood disorder that Nick has, so we wish him the best of luck, and we hope that he gets better. Inside, and the count 1-2.
Well, this young man had to be a little bit shocked. Of course, the thing that Bob Melvin usually does, and the staff, they'll tell players when they're going to be playing. Brandon Moss happy that right-hander's on the mound, 2-run home run, but Nate Fryman, a right-handed batter, getting a chance to face a right-handed pitcher. Of course, a few guys on the not disabled, but not playing. Cespedes and Coco Crisp might have helped a little bit, but Brandon Moss happy to see the righty. Nate Fryman happy to be in facing a right-handed pitcher. Last 5 pitchers have been lefties against the A's.
And now it's 3-2. 2-run homer for Brandon Moss here in the second inning. Fastball fouled straight back. The Indians are leading the Rangers again tonight. It's 5-1 in the 8th inning. So.
And that's in Arlington.
That is in Arlington. Yeah.
High fastball and 6'8" Nate Fryman.
3-2 pitch. Breaking ball's popped up right near the mound. And Hughes calls everybody off. He says, I got this, baby. Do not see that very often, but he makes the catch. Side retired. Moss, home run number 10 on the year, and the A's lead 2-0. Brought to you by White House Down, in theaters June 28th. That's who brought this kid. He's a Yankee fan. Austin Romine, the catcher, leading things off. Will be followed by Gardner and Cano against Straily, who has given up just one hit in the first 2 innings. Astros and the Mariners are underway. No score in the 3rd inning. Lyles and Bonderman, the pitching matchup there. Seattle going for the sweep of the Astros. High pop-up. Foul territory. And Moss and Reddick come together. Moss reached out right at the last minute. Could not quite get it.
Well, you know the mound is there, and actually did a very good job not getting a faceplant, falling over the mound. Kind of peaked a little bit, then went up the incline, and that last step, or the step that he took when he was on top of the mound, is like, where is it going to come down?
Yeah.
Right there. It just finally came down, and then declined and could not hang on. Long run. Tough air. No.
Young goes back into right center. He's got it. So Romine is retired, and that's out number 1.
Now batting, number 11, Brett Gardner.
So here's the top of the order, and Brett Gardner. Gardner fouled out to Donaldson, leading off the ball game. Flashes a little bunt and then pulls the bat back. There's a strike. So we said this is a 10-game road trip for the Angels. They've already been to Seattle, where they won 3 out of 4. Stop here, and then at the Angels this weekend for New York. So 10-game West Coast swing. Long run for Seth Smith. He's headed into foul territory, and he's got it. So Gardner has fouled out twice. That's never much fun if you're a hitter, fouling out twice.
Last night we saw in the first inning a couple of power hitters fouling out. Hafner and Overbay with the bases loaded against that man, Bartolo Colon, who got out of a tough first inning. And I thought Derek Norris was very succinct last night in talking about that Bartolo Colon is smart enough to know certain guys may be going to hit ground balls, others might hit fly balls, and pitching carefully to certain guys. And you don't see a pitcher hardly walk anybody and then all of a sudden walk four.
We should have known.
Yeah,
we should have known.
Exactly. And it's exactly what he did. He's that smart of a pitcher to know that certain Yankees, he's definitely not going to let them beat him. And I think some of the Yankee people said when Bartolo Colon got through the first inning unscathed, bases loaded, 1 out, no runs, figured it was over.
Cano fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
6 innings last night. How about that? Last 5 starts, 5-0, 75.75 ERA. Ted Lillard, 2003, last to do that. ERA below 1. Now with the Dodgers. I think. Still with the Dodgers.
He's on the disabled list. Well, Colon's ERA for the season is now 2.92, and he's 8-2.
After that brawl last night in Los Angeles, there might be a few guys on the DL.
Yeah.
Or suspended.
Punishments are supposed to come down tomorrow, is what we're hearing. I think Major League Baseball would have liked to have set down the punishments today, but I think they had a lot of video to look at and a lot of things to sort through.
Well, and also the players can appeal and continue to play until the appeal is heard.
But they had players on the disabled list coming out of the dugout and onto the field, which is can't do that.
No, they definitely will not get away with that. You look at video and you're going to see, wait a minute, that guy's on the DL. And coaches are supposed to be peacemakers.
Well, the Diamondbacks catcher Miguel Montero had a great quote. He said, paraphrasing, basically they had twice as many guys out there. He said it looked like they were all healthy, those guys on the disabled list, the way they were swinging punches.
Right. Their arms weren't hurting.
Their arms certainly were hurting. Said Josh Beckett was out there and he was pushing people around. Lowry, the shortstop, goes back. He's got it. Very nice inning for Dan Straily. Bottom of the third coming up. Top of the order for the A's, leading 2-0. deal in Bay Area baseball. Comcast Sports at California's Authentic Fan Fridays at the Coliseum. This Friday, get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an Authentic A's superhero cape, cheer card, and a $6 food drink voucher, all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is Comcast Sports Net Authentic Fan Friday. Log on to csncalifornia.com for details. So it will be the Seattle Mariners in town this weekend.
Pie Man.
Yeah, he's
Walk
there.
off Pie Man.
J-So to lead it off, takes up and away.
Yeah, if we're going to turn back the clocks to 1969, maybe the A's players come out with a vest.
I like those vests. Yeah, I like that look.
It's a good vest. I like that. Someone was saying you should wear those.
Maybe you and I should bring out the vest.
Baseball.
Like that one you wore in that spring training picture we got of you. Sweet vest. Although 69.
It's an alpaca sweater.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Hair started to get long in 69, right?
Well, 72 basically was all started with the A's.
Oh, hang in there, buddy. So you wonder why security guards wear a helmet. I think we just found out.
Well, and it is required. It's a new MLB rule. And ball carried off the wall and clank.
He's all right.
No ear flap. Might have to go to the double ear flap, though. And the catcher gets it.
I like the hat underneath the helmet, though. See players do that once in a while in the 60s and 70s.
And it's a real helmet.
I think Ichiro's asking him what the heck's going on.
Yeah, we were in Texas and I was talking to one of the security guards, and he said, yeah, we have to wear helmets down the line. And, boy, that's a good idea.
Why not?
That boy with the double ear flap and the police officer learning how to eat sunflower seeds. I bet he, on his regular patrol, I wonder if he has a cup that he hits the seeds into the cup or just, you know.
I wouldn't mess with him.
See the ball boy next to the officer. Yes, sir. Whatever you want me to do, sir.
That's right. Leadoff walk for J-So. So that's the second walk by Hughes. He has struck out one. And here's Smith.
Now batting, left fielder, number 15, Seth Smith.
So Hughes slowing things down a little bit. Smith had a base hit in the first inning. It was a pop-up that dropped right in front of Vernon Wells, and Smith tried to make it to second, and he was thrown out. Curve in first strike. Indians still leading the Rangers 5-1, and it's now at the top of the ninth. So the Tribe trying to help out the A's again tonight.
Remember, the A's will be in Arlington on Monday night for a 4-game series against the Rangers.
Strike right on the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Lowry will be next. Very close pitch, but a bit outside. So the lefties have come out of hibernation.
Yes.
This has not been a lot of at-bats for the guys like J-So and Smith and Moss. But they knew it was coming just like we did, where there was going to be a bunch of lefties coming up. So
throw in Eric Sogard. So that group,
right,
those four guys, although Josh Reddick been playing right field against lefties and righties, but those guys in the batting cage during batting practice, Chili Davis, the A's hitting coach, puts all those guys together. It's amazing to see four left-handed hitters get in the cage at the same time, or at least to be hitting not at the same time in the same group. said all averages out, but I think the left-handed hitter said no way, because seeing all these lefties in succession, they'll get their due with a lot of right-handed pitchers.
That's right. 2 weeks from now, the right-handed hitters are going to be saying, this is not evening out. Adam Rosales.
I think the one thing Bob Melvin will do, and we have seen it even with the lefties pitching, he will not stick with. I mean, he'll try probably during that period of time to get right-handers in the lineup, and he knows the importance, especially for that many games consecutively, to keep a guy on the bench and then expect when you need him to come up and do the job. You have to keep them sharp, and the only way to keep them sharp is to play them. Did it last year, and look at the success the A's had down the stretch.
Foul back again. So the count remains 2-2. 54 pitches are ready for Hughes. So again, the pitch count is up, and it's not like he's necessarily getting hit around, but I think the A's at bats have a lot to do with that.
Well, talk about a put away pitch for a pitcher, and if you get 2 strikes, can't put him away, he keeps fouling off tough pitches. That's not good. Adds to the pitch count. Mr. Seth Smith started 0-2, and now all of a sudden it's the 7th pitch coming up with 3 foul balls with getting 2 strikes.
You know what I'd love to see as a statistic is what team hits the most foul balls.
Yeah, I
gotta believe the A's would be near the top.
I mean, the one thing that I keep is the foul balls with 2 strikes, because that keeps you alive to try to get a good pitch. Now there are other foul balls to get you to the strike 2, but the important ones are when. That's that right there. That's
well,
the 4th.
Smith has done this. Yeah, he's 4 times. It again, do not know the numbers. It just seems like the A's foul a lot of pitches off.
I'm not going to go back through my scoreboard.
No, I don't want you to, although you could work on that for the weekend.
But I do know that John Jaso and Seth Smith in this inning have fouled off 6.
There you go.
With 2 strikes.
And there's another one. So, well, we sit next to each other on the plane, Ray. We could probably, you could give me the first half of your scorebook. Start going through it. So 17 pitches this inning, and the only thing that has happened is a walk.
Yeah. He's thrown 10 pitches that's done something. The other 7 have been fouled off by the hitters. And all this does, the more pitches a hitter sees. Now, Romine went out to talk to Hughes and say, what are we going to do? We've had 2 strikes on this guy for a long time.
And now it's a full count.
But you know what happens, and I've been back there, and Romine, you know, you say, okay, he's foul off, let's go to something else. Well, then all of a sudden you're getting out of your game. You're trying to get a hitter out with your best pitches, and then say, well, he keeps fouling that one off, let's go to something else. And at least to this point, Seth Smith has taken the pitch, and he is now getting ready to see his 11th pitch in the at-bat.
Jaso runs, and it's ball 4. What an at-bat by Smith.
And
so an off-speed pitch.
That's called 11 pitches, which means Francesco's.
Take it.
He'll be a Francesco's. And Chili Davis giving the certificate, and Larry Rothschild said, how did that happen? An 11 pitch at bat after starting the at bat 0-2.
Lowry walked in the first inning. And a big breaking ball drops in for a strike. Well, that helps what we're talking about right there. 3.99 pitches per plate appearance. And now it's 0-2. So we'll see how Lowry battles back from the 0-2 count.
Got Josh Reddick 0-2, went to 2-2, got a base hit. Nate Fryman 0-2, went to 3-2 after fouling off a pitch. And then 3-2 to both Jaso and Smith in this inning. So there's your accumulation of pitches for a starting pitcher.
And that one bounced toward Cano. He charges, tags the runner, throws to first, and that's a double play. Nice play by Robinson Cano.
I think Seth Smith thought he could get past Cano, but good play by Cano. Seth Smith just running hard, trying to get past him, but could not. And did he have a chance to run into it? Yes, he did. Just, I don't think you want to pull an Albert Bell and form a guy, but you know, once the second baseman comes, you have a chance. If he's going to tag you, at least run into him to prevent it from throwing to first. But Cano, the Gold Glover that he is.
So runner at third for Donaldson.
Seth Smith took that last quick step, thinking I think he could get by, but just Cano moved too quick.
Because ultimately what you want to do is you want to, if you can get past him, that's the best case scenario for the runner. So I think that's really what you want to try to do.
Or you try to hold him, do something,
you
know, so he can't complete the throw. But really what a second baseman does, and Cano did it perfectly, and that is to catch the ball, try to make the tag. If he doesn't, he knows he's going to get the runner first. But for the A's standpoint, it would have been second and third. Cano's good. Kind of reminds me a lot of the Hall of Famer Rod Carew, the way he swings the bat and plays the infield.
Drive to center. Gardner's going back. Right at the wall, and he's got it. So the A's open the inning with a couple of walks, but they do not score. Through three, it's the A's 2 and the Yankees nothing. Brought to you by Grimes Coffee Pouches. Get the product the players use and visit getgrimes.com today. Two 2-0. The A's lead the Yankees on a Brandon Moss 2-run homer. It'll be Teixeira, Hafner, and Wells for the Yanks. And that one's hit hard. Nice play by Moss. Spins around, hustles to the bag. 1 out. Hard hit ball, but Moss stayed with it.
Well, that's a great play considering the difficulty. He had to try to just use his quick hands. And let's remember also in a game not too long ago, he had back-to-back double plays, actually back-to-back innings in which he had double plays on hard hit balls against the Red Sox. Ball's top spin, and great hands by Brandon Moss to get to the ball and rush to the bag. To get to Teixeira, robbed him of double at least. Some great hands, good hands. Just hit a 2-run home run. Like it's going to be a special night for you.
First pitch to Hafner, in for a strike. Well, the A's pitchers in this stretch where they have been so terrific. A's winning all these games. It just seems like they're ahead of every hitter. It's amazing.
And as we have saw last night with Bartolo Colon, after getting through the top of the first inning, his club scored him 2 runs, one in each of the first 2 innings, then a 3-run spot. So a very good lead, and he took over.
And that's out number 2. Here's tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Dan Straily's fastball and what the league is hitting against the fastball. Last year 306, this year 241.
And it's a sneaky fastball. Yeah. That's the amazing thing of how hitters, we saw Travis Hafner swing through a fastball, good fastball hitter, but just something about the way he delivers the ball, hides it, and then all of a sudden it's there.
And first pitch to Wells in first strike, 0-1. Donaldson has it. Nice big hop. Flips it across. Side retired. 7 in a row retired. And that inning, Dan Straily used just 6 pitches. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Rivera's first major league win came at Oakland. It was on May 8, 1995, and it was his second career start in game. Remember that? Start. Yep. Who was the starting pitcher for the A's in that game? If you think you know the answer, tweet us at CSN Athletics. Mariano Rivera as a starter. Reddick drives one, but Wells is right there, and that's out number 1.
You know, at a time when he was a setup reliever for John Wetland.
For a short period of time. About 1 year.
600 plus saves later, and Mariano Rivera is going to retire. What a gentleman. And he said it's about his children and being home with his kids, and faith is huge. And he's got a church he's involved with, a lot of things that Mariano wants to do outside of baseball, and he will be able to do it following this season.
Moss fouls it back, and the count is 0-2. 631 career saves for Rivera. All the other guys on that list are finished playing.
A few of them in the Hall of Fame, or soon to be.
Oh, 2 pitch. breaking ball in the dirt.
So Bartolo Colon last night pitched carefully, especially in the first inning, and ended up walking 4. And John Straily said that Mariano Rivera was facing Raul Bañez with the Mariners. One guy felt it could hurt him. He walked him. Just said, I'm not going to let you beat me. He walked him, and of course, smart enough pitcher to be able to do that. And if pitchers like Colon or Rivera, Pettit, guys with great control, just talking about guys who are here, and there are others, when they walk somebody with great control, you know there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, because Bartolo Colon isn't all of a sudden going to not have good control.
Exactly.
Two outs for Chris Young, who hit a fly ball to right field in the second inning. A hanger, but Young fouled it straight back. .90 miles an hour. It looks like Hughes is throwing harder than that. Yeah. He's a big fella, 6'5", 240 pounds.
Well, as he did in New York in early May, he's doing it in tonight, working quickly. And, of course, now you have two pitchers. Dan Straily, we know, watching him working quickly. Phil Hughes doing the same thing, trying to be aggressive. And, boy, he had a great fastball in New York, elevated it. And he came up only 4 hits in 8 innings in the Bronx. Then it's a pretty good outing. Tonight, just a mistake, actually, a couple of mistakes. Fastball to Reddick on a 2-2 count, base hit, followed by an off-speed pitch to Brandon Moss. That quickly down 2-0.
And there's a good fastball and a couple of strikeouts for Hughes here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 5th inning coming up, still 2-0 Athletics. Win came at Oakland on May 28, 1995. Came as a starter. Who was the starting pitcher for the A's? It was Mike Harkey, who right now is sitting in the Yankees bullpen.
That's good.
As their bullpen coach. Mike Harkey, and there he is. He made 12 starts for the A's in 1995. Split the year between the A's and the Angels. Mike Harkey, remember, he had a great start to his career. He was...
That's right.
Great rookie season with the Cubs.
Well, he's probably one of a few, especially on the staff, that would like to see Mariano Rivera decide to just continue to play.
Yeah,
because
it makes his job a little easier.
That's right, because they know that You know, the Yankees have the star players, but the one guy who continues to excel every year, every time he goes to the mound, is kind of Mr. Automatic, and that is Mariano Rivera.
0-2 pitch to Youkilis, and on 3 pitches, Youkilis is gone.
Well, Mariano Rivera does a lot of special things, but how about Julie Vasconcelos, the mailroom operator for the Athletics, some 25 years working, and Mariano Rivera, you know, he can do a lot of different things on the baseball field. He delivered pizza to Julie Vasconcelos and took a picture, and that's just the special Mariano Rivera. I was talking to him in the clubhouse. He said, I have to go up to the A's mailroom at 4:30. Why is he going to the mailroom at 4:30 this afternoon? Well, we just found out why, to deliver pizza to Julie. And you know, through his tour of American League parks and I'm sure National League parks and interleague play, he wants to do something special, not necessarily for people in baseball, but people are behind the scenes, and Julie Vasconcelos, that person for the A's.
Straily throws. Number 2. Julie's like the sweetest lady ever. Yeah. So she deserves that.
Absolutely. And I can imagine Julie, as you saw her there, is shocked to see Mariano Rivera walk in with a pizza.
So 2 outs, and Jason Nick steps in. Straily has retired 9 in a row. Really has not been a whole lot of hard hit balls. Teixeira hit a ball hard at Moss last inning. Just a bit high.
That is funny too about Julie Vasconcelos. The A's people said, "Hey, Julie, you have a new trainee coming into the mailroom. You need to train." And here walks,
she fell for it.
Who was the greatest closer in the history of the game.
Donaldson grabs the hop, fires across in time. So that's an 8-pitch inning for Straily, and he is dealing, and the A's lead 2-0. Sonoma Raceway. NASCAR returns to Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350, June 21st through the 23rd. For tickets, go to racesonoma.com. That's the 2-run homer hit by Brandon Moss in the 2nd inning. And that's the only runs in the game so far. So 2-0. Bottom of the 5th, and Sogard leads it off. Sogard takes a strike, so the count even at 1-1. Hughes has retired 5 in a row after issuing back-to-back walks to Jaso and Smith leading off the third. They got a double play. Say Hughes is setting himself up for a big payday. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I'd say that's exactly right.
I mean, everybody wants starting pitching. He's a pretty good starter. He's only 26. He will turn 27 a little bit later on this month. And he's a free agent at the end of this year.
Well, and the guy at second base is also, and there's a 2 guys, 1 pitcher, 1 position player that the Yankees will need to lock up.
Yep.
The A's second fireworks show of the season is on Friday, June the 14th. That's coming up in a few days. This special show set to superhero theme songs and presented by the Oakland Tribune and Contra Costa Times begins after the A's play the Mariners at Odak Coliseum. In the family and the picnic blankets, and enjoy the show from the outfield grass. On-field capacity is limited. For tickets and information, go to oaklandathletics.com/fireworks. And we do not want you to stay home, watch this game on Comcast Sportsnet California, which I know you do. If you don't come to the game, come to the fireworks. And miss the A-team. Put your DVR on the A-team, because there'll be an A-team in between the end of the game and the fireworks. Highlighted by my partner in the A-team.
Yeah, well, we're just riding the wave of Vince Cotroneo hosting the A-team. But we will be with you on Friday.
But, of course, we know that good fans of A's baseball will watch the games on Comcast Sportsnet California when they can't come out here. And we appreciate that. Get a chance to watch some good baseball. Some great baseball.
Oh, 1-1 the count to Fryman. See if he tries to bunt again. The runner goes, and he had a decent jump, I would say.
You know, the smartest play about that, part about that play was the fact that Nate Fryman saw Sogard take off. And watch Eric Sogard as Phil Hughes one look, and the old saying about if he does not get the throw over from the bench, from his catcher, he takes a courtesy look and forgets about the runner. So Nate Fryman taking the fastball out of the strike zone. Now he has a chance to hit the ball to the right side to advance him, or maybe even bunt him over.
Trying to go that way.
He was. And how many times you see a runner take off in less than 2 strikes and the hitter swings the bat? Fouls off the ball. What are you doing? 2 strikes, it's different, but Eric Sogard, a tremendous jump. And the worst part about that is the catcher gets a stolen base against him and not a caught stealing when he didn't even have a chance.
Fastball outside, and it's 2-2.
Nate Fryman said that his wife Amanda is on the LPGA tour, is in town for this homestand because there's not a tour event for the ladies. So Nate and his wife get to spend some time together. Something about the U.S. Open, the men's, they didn't want to go up against him or something like that.
Probably not a bad idea. That one toward right center. On the move is Ichiro, and he makes a nice catch. And Sogard thought about tagging out, but he has to hustle back. It looked like Ichiro was actually playing shallow.
Yeah.
And he had a long way to go to his right, but he was able to make a nice play.
Well, in hindsight, Eric Sogard should have gone back to tag because it was the job of Nate Fryman to try to advance him, and he did his job. But Sogard, I think, thought the ball was going to land and wanted to try to score. At this point, with nobody out, you think about tagging. And once Ichiro went to the ground, see, he's kind of caught him in 20 thought, and then by the time he went back, cannot test the arm of Ichiro, who still throws very well. But if he's tagging from the get-go, right from the beginning, he probably makes it without a throw.
So Sogard still at second, and here's Jaso. In for a strike. So you think Nate Fryman's wife, when she's here, not a tour event, does she like go hit balls? Does she go to the driving range? Does she pay for a large bucket? You know what I'm saying? I mean, does she say, hey, I'm on the LPGA tour? Does she have a card? How does that work?
She's got a cue card.
Does she slide like a $10 bill in the machine and wait for the balls to drop into the basket?
Or does Nate go out and carry her bag on a practice run?
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. I remember when Doug Rader was the hitting coach for the A's many years ago, and the hitter said, hey, Rooster, can we go take some early batting practice? He said, here's a row of quarters. There's a pitching machine down the street. I'm not going to the park. You go down there.
That one driven to right. Ichiro going back, and it is off the base of the wall. Sogard's going to trot in, and Jaso has a double, and the A's lead 3-0.
Well, sometimes
getting hurt with the off-speed.
Exactly what I was thinking, Kite, because he's got a great fastball, very aggressive. This is an 0-2 off-speed pitch, and John Jaso just went down. Nice stride, upper body swing, and the ball goes off the wall. But that's the off-speed after throwing some very good fastballs. And like the same with Brandon Moss, this one off the wall. Brandon Moss got the off-speed pitch, hit a 2-run home run.
So RBI number 16 for Jaso. Still only one out for Smith. Fastball in for a strike.
When a pitcher catcher are able to speed up the bat of a hitter after fastball has not been able to hit very well, and you're helping the pitcher, the hitter, by changing speeds. And while you might fool a hitter, John Jaso kept his bat back and did a great job.
John Kelly gets up. So 91 pitches for Hughes with one out in the 5th inning. He's walked 4. He has struck out 3. One and 2 as he went with the breaking ball. Outfield shallow. And there's that fastball just a bit off the plate. 2-2 the count. He's going to throw another breaking ball, Ray. I'm telling you.
I'd say before the bat is over.
18 pitches seen by Seth Smith, and this is just his 3rd at bat, and this one's not over yet.
And that was a 3-pitch first at bat that he broke the ball to left field. So that 3.99 pitches per at bat will be escalated.
He's going to shoot over 4 after tonight. High fastball, and now it's 3-2. Jaso with the lead. Right behind him is the shortstop, Nix. Fastball just a bit outside. Hughes can't believe it. He thought he had a strikeout.
You know, you can say what you want about the A's hitters, and this pitch, they get the white line in the right-handed batter's box, so that's off the plate enough that Dale Scott didn't like it.
So Girardi's coming out. Phil Hughes did not want to see that, and they're going to the bullpen. So Phil Hughes has walked a couple in this inning. He's given up a run, and he is done for the night. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
pregame pup rally and pup parade around the field. Each pup will receive a goodie bag. The A's will donate a portion of the proceeds to Dogs for Diabetics and the Animal Rescue Foundation. For more information, go to oaklandathletics.com/dogday. Limited tickets available. Deadline to purchase is June 17, which would be Monday coming up.
Sean Kelly comes in. We've seen Sean Kelly over the years. The Seattle Mariners. But Yankees got him from the Mariners as a trade right before the start of spring training this year, February 13th. So Kelly throws one pitch and it's bounced towards short, and Cano tries to turn it and not quite in time. Ball just was not hit hard enough. So Jaso to third. Smith is retired on the base pass, and Lowry's aboard on a fielder's choice.
Well, it was hit too softly, and even Cano so quickly releasing the ball, bounced it to Mark Teixeira. Still made a very close play, but Lowry had it beaten easily.
So Donaldson will hit. Runners at the corners, 2 outs.
Saw the look on the face of Phil Hughes when Joe Girardi came out. How do you think the look on the face of Sean Kelly in that game in which Phil Hughes pitched on the 4th of May? Maybe had a 4-0 lead. Kelly started the 9th, gave up a hit to Cespedes. Mariano Rivera came in a non-save situation because Girardi and the Yankees wanted to win the game, so they went straight to the closer after a Cespedes base hit off Kelly.
5 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a lot of pitches. So Kelly takes over, the 26-year-old right-hander. 27 now, the birthday in April. Inherited runners, stranded runners, 10 for 10. That's pretty darn good. And he's got 2 inherited runners out there. Pitch to Donaldson is a strike down around the knees, 2-1. And on the reverse side, good numbers for Donaldson in these situations. That one's hit hard, but right at the shortstop. Nix, who goes to Cano, side retired. A's get a run on the John Jaso RBI double. So we are through 5 at the Coliseum. It's now 3-0 the A's lead. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Red, white, and Eugene giveaway. Visit cachecreek.com for details. Some of the good eats here at the Coliseum. Plenty of choices. And right now on the scoreboard, the A's lead 3-0 behind Dan Straily, who has been very, very good through the first 5 innings. Just 1 hit allowed, and that was a 2-out single to Ichiro. Since then, he's retired 10 in a row. Ho hum, just another good start by an A's pitcher. We're getting spoiled. Popped up. Easy play for Sogard, and he's got it, and that's out number 1.
And there's a simple case right there. Take a first pitch fastball for a strike and swing at a slider.
There you go. A's starters in the last 9 home games. Now remember, the A's have won 9 consecutive home games, so these are pitching right here at the Coliseum, regarded as a pitcher's park. The starters have an ERA of 1.37.
You know, you can look at the park, which is advantageous for pitchers, but you make quality pitches because the A's have the record, which means the team has to be scoring runs for the A's to have the wins, but the pitchers making quality pitches.
Well, and the pitchers have been good on the road during this stretch as well. It is a pitcher's park, but that's not why they're pitching so well.
And we'll see how the park plays tomorrow on a day game, which whether it should be good. And a park in which fly balls usually land in the glove may not be the case on a sunny afternoon.
The Texas Rangers have lost. Cleveland 5, Texas 2. Jimenez the winner, Tepich the loser. So the A's right now have a half-game lead over the Rangers in the AL West. So the Indians take 2 out of 3 from the Rangers in Arlington.
Number 24, Robinson.
So the walk to Gardner, and Cano steps in.
Base hit to Suzuki back in the second, and then Dan Straily retired everybody till that walk. And what we've seen, Dan Straily not quite similar in a sense to A.J. Griffin. 1 bad inning and 4 pitches out of the strike zone. Remember, as we talked earlier about Dan Straily and his stride. Kurt Young wants the stride to be at a certain distance so he keeps the ball down and doesn't get the pitches up, and he's around the strike zone.
Big bouncer goes right over the head of Moss and into right field, and Gardner will easily go to third. First and third, and 1 out.
Cano, after a 4-pitch walk to the batter in front of him, jumps on the first pitch, and the old saying goes, if he's not being held at first, maybe that's an out, but a high chopper over Brandon Moss's head.
So here's Teixeira, and this is the first scoring opportunity for the Yankees against Straily tonight. The pitch is up and away. Third time through the lineup. Teixeira swings at a changeup.
Good block by Jaso with the off-speed pitch in the dirt. Smothered it. That's about working with Darren Bush, the A's bullpen coach, and working with the catchers and working on blocking balls, especially with the runners third.
Teixeira lays off that one, and now the count 2-1. Hafner is in the on-deck circle. With that Rangers loss, the Rangers will now get set to host the Blue Jays in a 4-game series starting tomorrow night. And then, of course, as you said, the A's in a 4-game series starting next week. So that's an 11-game homestand for the Rangers. Teixeira rips one toward right. Reddick on the move. He's going to get there. Gardner tags, and he's going to come in to score. He scores with a slide, and the Yankees are on the board. But I think should all be happy that that one ended up in the glove of Reddick, because that was a shot.
Well, Reddick also very smart to know that Brett Gardner has tremendous speed. It's going to be tough to throw him out instead of airmailing a ball and putting the runner Cano at second base. He decided to get the ball back in, keep Cano at first. Brett Gardner at tremendous speed, and although he thought maybe the ball was going to get past Reddick, so he went back initially, but able to score without a throw.
So Teixeira picks up his 12th RBI, but now 2 outs for Hafner. Pitches in to Hafner, who is grounded out twice. He's 0 for 5 in the series with a couple of walks. Then he went around, says Todd Tishner.
Travis Hafner couldn't believe it. He thought he had held up. He didn't. Bat head looped across the plate, and that's all the umpire wants to see on the corner.
Inside again. The count is 2-1. The Angels won today in Baltimore 9-5. It was a 6-run 7th inning that brought the Angels back. Pujols hit a home run. Chris Davis hit his 21st home run for the Orioles in a losing effort. What a year for Chris Davis. Just a little bit low, 3-1. Angels will be off tomorrow. They will start a 10-game homestand on Friday with the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Pirates arriving at the Big A in Anaheim. So road trip done for the Angels. They're heading home for a while. Hafner had a good rip, and now it's 3-2.
And you never think about walking or pitching carefully to a hitter, but Vernon Wells, the on-deck hitter, and a couple of times Wells has made out, one a strikeout, one a ground ball. We've seen a total of 5 pitches, all strikes. And Hafner is the dangerous one, because he can do a lot. He can use the whole field, as he tried last night, go to left field and go against the wall, caught for the final out.
Cano takes off, and strike 3 call. Hafner called out on strikes, a run for the Yankees. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. It's the A's 3 and the Yankees 1. Here, Mariano Rivera actually blew a save, and we just don't say that happen very often. David Wright, Lucas Duda with RBI singles in the bottom of the 9th inning. And it was a blown save as the Mets came back and beat the Yankees 2-1. It's the first time in the major leagues, regular season or postseason, that Rivera has been charged with a loss or a blown save opportunity without recording an out. He did not get an out. That was one of those series like the A's and Giants had. 2-2, 2 home games in each park. Yankees and Mets, and the Mets won all 4 games.
Well, in that game, of course, Mariano making the trip, and of course over into Shea Stadium, or actually Citi Field now. But John Franco caught the first pitch thrown by Mariano Rivera, the great closer, lefty John Franco, and we talked about kind of emotional day for Mariano Rivera, throwing to Franco, and ends up blowing the save. But you're right. I'd take my chances with him, though. And if there's ever an automatic, I'd say he's it. But A's have enjoyed seeing him in the bullpen last night. Great to see him there right now, tonight. And think about tomorrow, the final game he'll ever play, or at least be on the field here at the Coliseum.
Three and 1 to Reddick, followed by Moss and Young. Here's your guy that was automatic.
Yeah, that's right.
And a leadoff walk for the A's.
And
That's
the other guys.
Third time in this game there's been a leadoff walk for the A's.
Mr. October's in the house also. Reggie Jackson and Ricky Henderson. Couple retired numbers. Number 9 for the Athletics for Reggie. Number 24 for Ricky. 44 in New York for Reggie also. There is the Hall of Famer. Side-by-side numbers for Reggie and Ricky.
First pitch to Moss is a fastball outside.
Not bad. Reggie got 3 World Series wearing the number 9, and Ricky got 1 in '89 wearing 24.
A's got their leadoff hitter on in the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning, the 5th inning, and the 6th inning. And he has scored in 2 of those innings, and see if it happens here in the 6th. 1-1 as Moss swings through the fastball.
Pep, here's a number for you. Phil Hughes threw 95 pitches, 7 batters. He started the count 0-2. Those 7 batters, he threw a total of 38 pitches after starting 0-2.
And he walked 5.
Yeah. So
it's a great number. And see that right there, what you just said, it's not going to really show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
How many times did he get to 0-2 on a hitter?
Yeah. And it'll also show he pitched 4 1/3 innings.
Exactly. 95 pitches.
That's probably what the A's do better than anything. And everybody says the A's play long games and take a lot of pitches, but I don't think you can ever fault a hitter. I've said it many times. Fault a hitter for taking pitches that aren't strikes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they take more than other teams. I think they put together better at bats than a lot of teams do.
Exactly, and which means you swing at strikes. Yeah. If a pitcher doesn't throw a strike, why would you swing at it? And we've seen where hitters leading off an inning, swinging a 3-2 pitch out of the strike zone and make an out instead of walking to start an inning. The A's hitters is the case with Sogard last inning. He walks, ends up scoring a big run for the A's, make it 3-1 or 3-0 at the time. Now 3-1.
2-2 the count to Moss. And Reddick dancing around at first.
I think he was going on the pitch that Kelly actually threw over. It was going to be one of those Sogard just take off and not even have him look at it.
Reddick with a little lean, but he's not going, and the pitch is right on the outside corner. Dale Scott rings him up. So Moss, after hitting the home run in the 2nd inning, has struck out twice.
Well, they kept throwing the fastballs outside. Romine stayed out there, and finally, Dale Scott liked it.
First pitch to Chris Young is inside corner strike. Terrific game today in Kansas City, Ray. I don't know if you saw the highlights, but the Royals beat the Tigers 3-2 in 10 innings.
Oh, wow.
But it was in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jose Valverde was in, and the Tigers were leading 2-0.
Verlander 7 shutout innings.
Yeah. So Valverde had 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th and a 2-strike count on Lorenzo Cain, and he hit a 2-run homer to tie the game. And then in the bottom of the 10th, Eric Hosmer had a walk-off single off Phil Koch, and the Royals came back and beat the Tigers 3-2 at home. Terrific game. And the Royals have won 7 out of their last 8. That one hooked foul. So the Royals are starting to feel it a little bit. Now they're still 3 games under 500, but they're only 5.5 games behind the Tigers, and really for the first time this year, Kansas City is starting to win games in bunches, and their pitching has been terrific lately.
That was James Shields today. Gave up 2 runs facing Justin Verlander and the Tigers.
Yeah.
But I just think back to, of course, back in the 4-man rotation. I wonder what Mickey Lolich and Denny McLain are thinking about Verlander going 7 innings, shutout baseball, untouchable for 7, leaves, gets a no decision.
Yep.
But it's the pitch count, and of course he strikes out a lot of batters. I think he got, what, 112, 114 pitches for Verlander. The Royals team ERA 3.48.
Wow. That one skied to center. Gardner coming in, and he's got it, and that's the second out. So Young is 0 for 3. BI tells us that Verlander threw 117 pitches in 7 innings, and then he came out. That's the lefty Boone Logan. So Sogard will hit. Bad weather in the Midwest today. The White Sox and the Blue Jays were postponed. And that was a night game, but they called that game about noon. That's how bad the weather was. Must be very, very bad weather coming through that Chicago area.
And we assume with the scheduling, Blue Jays in the Eastern Division, White Sox Central, that's the only trip. What if they had that printout that we had, that if it's rained out today, it's a doubleheader tomorrow?
Never seen that before.
Never seen it. You're right.
That was in Chicago, right,
yeah.
where they gave it to her? Well, it is. There has not been a makeup date set just yet. The Red Sox beat the Rays 2-1. Andrew Bailey got the save after blowing a save earlier in that series. So the Yankees will look up and see the team they're chasing. The Red Sox got a win. That's the Red Sox 41st win as they continue to have the best record in the American League. Sean Kelly goes behind the mound. Looks like he's going to regroup a little bit with a 3-0 count on Sogard.
Boone Logan had a ball get away down the bullpen for a little bit also, not far into fair territory.
There's a strike. The Astros and the Mariners are tied, or I should say are scoreless into the 7th inning up at Safeco. A lot of pitching in that series as well. That one hit down the left field line. Wells headed into foul territory. He cannot quite get it. So the count will remain 3-2. The Dodgers and the Diamondbacks are behaving themselves tonight. And it's a good game. Dodgers leading Arizona 4-3. The Diamondbacks had a 3-0 lead after the shenanigans last night. I think tomorrow we're going to be reading about some significant suspensions from that brawl last night. No announcement today. Looks like those are coming tomorrow. Pitch is high, and it's another walk. That's the 7th walk the A's have received tonight. Sogard has received a couple of them.
I want to say when Joe Abbott was pitching for the Yankees, he walked 10 in a game and not one scored. And that's a horrible stat when you're the offensive team that received all those walks and not one scored.
The old Houdini, huh?
Oh, gosh. And tonight, not one has scored. Well, one. Sogard last inning. And he walked again.
So 2 on, 2 out for Fryman. Fryman swings and misses a little late on a fastball. Pop out, and Fryman was robbed of a hit by Ichiro in right field. That was in the 5th inning. Hit a ball toward right center. In on the hands, and the count is 1-2. Just 6 hits total in the game. 4 by the A's, only 2 by the Yankees. But A's have had a lot of base runners with the 7 walks they've received. They've only gone down in order once tonight, and that was in the 4th inning. A little flare, shallow right field. Cano out. Coming in is Ichiro, and he goes into a slide, and he makes the catch. So the A's strand a pair, and we're headed to the 7th inning. It's 3-1 Athletics. Seventeenth, 1978, 35 years ago, was the lefty Ron Guidry. He struck out a Yankee record 18 hitters, and it was against the then California Angels. His line that night, 9 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, and his final strikeout victim that night was our old friend Joe Root.
Yep, and you saw the catcher was Thurman Munson.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lightning, boy, he could throw some sliders. Greg Nels, his third baseman, would cheat a little bit every time he'd throw the slider, cheat towards the line. Never got a ball by him. But I think that was his season when he won 25 and 25 and 1 or 3, 4, 5 losses. Just an unbelievable season.
Won the Cy Young.
Yeah. ERA very low.
Most career 10 strikeout games. Ron Guidry 23 times.
And Larry, when we go down to Arlington, Texas, I want you to put up Nolan Ryan's stat for most games to 10 strikeouts.
He had a few.
Wow. Strike out over 5,000. You get a few. Meanwhile, Dan Straily pitching in the 7th inning and hanging on to a 2-run lead. 1 walk last inning, scored.
First pitch to Wells is in for a strike. Wells grounds it. Lowry throws, and that's out number 1. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for Straily.
Number 36, Kevin Youkilis.
And here's Youkilis. Youkilis does not have a lot of bad at-bats, but he had one in the 5th inning. He waved at a pitch way out of the strike zone. Straily starting to snap that breaking ball off.
Well, he shook to the breaking pitch last inning when he had a 3-2 count on Hafner and maybe concerned about challenging him, and 1 home run would have tied the game. So he shook, got to the slider, and froze him. And got strike 3 called. Great pitch from Dan Straily.
8 groundouts, 8 flyouts, and 3 strikeouts. And that hit Youkilis right in the back with a breaking ball.
A breaking ball that did not break.
Boy, his last couple of batters, his curveball has been terrific. This one just slipped right out of his hand.
It's almost like a ball slipping in your fingers, and you couldn't stop and continue to throw. And was happy to take the hit back.
So Ichiro will step in. He has one of the 2 Yankee hits. He slapped a single to left field in the 2nd inning. And the first pitch is right there for a strike. Jason Nix waits in the on deck circle. And off speed, drops right in there for a strike. 0-2.
We were last at bat when pitch was outside. Ichiro just served it out to left field. First 2 pitches have been changeups inside part of the plate. He's not been able to pull the trigger. And it's getting loose quickly in the bullpen for the A's. It's Jerry Blevins.
That one scoots past Jaso, and Youkilis is going to go to second.
Got another breaking pitch. This one in the dirt, but if Jaso came up, the ball just ticked off the top of the webbing right there, and then scooted through not only his legs but the umpire's legs as well. Amazing what Exmo does on ball in the dirt.
Well, it lets you know exactly what happens is what it does.
Sean Doolittle getting loose. I said Blevins, but both lefties, only I guess the size a little different.
1-2 pitch is grounded slowly towards Sogard. He charges, flips to first, and they just get Ichiro.
That's a great play. Speed of Ichiro, and that's one thing that he has not lost. And that is his speed, getting out of the box quickly, slapping the ball, and infielders have to play a little bit more shallow. Sogard charged after the ball got past Straily, and almost like Dan Straily brought his glove back. He did not want to deflect the ball, slow it down, and allow Ichiro to reach on a base hit.
So Youkilis at third, 2 outs for Nix.
Still puts the bat up on the rack. That is the bat of Ichiro. Ted Walsh up in Seattle was the home clubhouse manager. I think he's put his bats in the humidor. Ichiro clean his bats. Probably not a mark other than in the sweet spot on the bat. You know Ichiro has his bat right there.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've ever. It's a little pine tar, but one I've ever seen where he actually Puts the bat on the hooks in the dugout.
Well, we've laughed about it before, but what do you think his reaction would be if before the game just went up and grabbed it, just swung it a couple times? Feels pretty good.
Or even worse than that, take the hooks down. Maybe everybody wants to check different parts of the field. Maybe each one wants to check the dugouts. Are there any hooks so I can put my bat?
Hooks are gone.
He brings his own rack.
Strike on the outside corner. Nix doesn't agree with Dale Scott.
Back-to-back fastballs outside corner. Dale Scott just on the corner for strike 2. Tommy Cam doesn't lie, man. He's got it all.
Nix has grounded out twice. Lays off that breaking ball, but a good 0-2 pitch. That one's hit to Donaldson. He dives. He cannot quite get it. And the Yankees get a big 2-out hit from Nix, and now it's 3-2. It was a breaking ball that hung up there, and Donaldson dove for it, just could not quite get it.
Well, as it turns out, the hanging breaking ball that didn't break hit Euclid, and then the hanging breaking ball after 2 perfect fastballs outside corner. It leaves it in the hitting zone for Nix, and Josh Donaldson almost got it. If he catches it, he throws him out, but could not, as the ball just under his glove. Nice diving effort, and just could not get it. That is a big 2-out hit. So a walk to lead off last inning and a 1-out hit batter this inning, and both have scored.
Here's Austin Romine. Nix takes off, and there'll be no throw. He'll be on second base with a stolen base. So Nix gets his 9th steal of the year. He has not been thrown out.
He got a great jump and straight steal all the way with the head down. And that's when they're going to take him out for pinch hitting. And pinch hitting for Romine.
It's like Overbay, I believe.
It's the difference of the runner getting the scoring position.
All right, if you're the base runner there, in that case Nix, is it a situation where maybe you know the pitcher's a little frustrated? He's 1 out away from getting out of the inning. He's a little ticked off. Maybe he's not going to concentrate completely, and a little sneak attack on the bases.
That's exactly what happened, and especially for him to go the way he did with the head down. And it's a great call, and it gets a breaking ball. No chance for Jaso to do anything. So a pinch hitter and a pitcher coming in to pitch to him.
So Straily goes 6 2/3. He leaves with a lead, and he's going to get a nice ovation. The youngster pitches extremely well again tonight.
Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota. Do the math and save at your local Toyota dealer.
So Straily's gone after 6 2/3 very good innings. Just 3 hits and 86 pitches. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. As Doolittle comes in, and Overbay came out to pinch hit for Romine. And when Doolittle came in, Overbay was pulled back, and it's Chris Stewart. So there's your move. So Lyle Overbay gets in the game, but doesn't see any action.
Stewart was going to come in and catch anyway, so might as well put him up against a left-hander, which started the at-bat 1-0. Now it's 2-0 after the first pitch out of the strike zone.
And you, I guess, really get away with burning a player and not using him in the American League. You got to be very careful doing it in the National League.
Exactly right.
2-1 to Stewart. And he drives one down the left field line, but it's well foul. Inherited runners 11, stranded 10. So that's a very good number for Sean Doolittle. And he's got an inherited runner out there in Jason Nix at second, and he's the tying run. 2-2 pitch, high, and now it's 3-2 with Gardner in the on-deck circle.
Same count last night. He had him 3-2 through a high fastball that he swung and missed. Just threw him 1-2 to get to the 3-2 count.
Swing and a miss. He blew it right by him. So Stewart strikes out. A run for the Yankees. 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. It's a 3-2 A's lead. Got the big strikeout, stranding that tying run at second.
Right down the middle, Dan Straily with his runner there, got him. And so once again, Dan Straily leaves with a lead against the White Sox here. He left with the lead. Sean Doolittle, a big strikeout with a tying run on board. And Sean Doolittle, a perfect 1-2-3 last night in the 7th inning. Not a lot of hits tonight. And the Yankees 2 runs, the result of a walk and a hit back.
So it's the lefty, the lone lefty in the Yankee bullpen. Boone Logan comes in.
Number 5, John Jason.
Nice year for Logan. Look at the strikeouts to innings pitched. 25 strikeouts, 17 innings pitched. Chris Stewart stays in the game, and he is behind the plate. So Stewart, the new catcher, Logan, the new pitcher, and the first pitch to Jaso is a strike. Jump Chamberlain, who pitched last night, he's starting to loosen up.
Well, this might be a short appearance for Boone Logan because of back-to-back lefty switch hitter, and then Donaldson, and then Reddick. Donaldson hit a solo home run off of Boone Logan on the Sunday afternoon, the ending Pettit game. Josh Donaldson's home run gave the A's a victory 5-4 in that series finale. So I think Donaldson's not going to face him if it comes down to that in this inning. That's why right-hander Chamberlain's getting loose.
One-two pitch and a good slider, and Jaso strikes out. So that's out number one here in the bottom of the seventh.
The hard slider, John Jaso, first to admit that he does not do well against lefties, and got the off-speed pitch and a swing and a miss on the slider.
Well, that's Logan's specialty. This is his fourth year with the Yankees, and he's been pretty good each and every year for them. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. Valuable commodity.
Is that because he's left-handed?
Yep. He pitches a lot too. He made 80 appearances last year. Pitches low to Seth Smith. So 2-0 to Seth Smith, who has singled and walked twice. So he's been on base all three times. Fastball outside corner for a strike. And that one's low, 3-0. Banjo Man down there?
No, I don't think so. That's a different tune for the Banjo Man. So I think that's
Sounds
it.
like he's standing right next to us.
I know. If it's a Banjo Man, then he's changed his tune.
No, he is. That's him.
That's
He's
it.
right
Oh,
below
sure
us. Yeah.
is. He's been practicing for about 100 years. He's good.
He's got a good seat too. Smith gets the one-out walk. See, he's right below us.
Yeah.
Now batting shortstop, number 8.
Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Tip your waitresses.
He'll be here for Friday night in the Cape, right? Only he's got his own cape.
He doesn't need a giveaway. He's had that cape for a while too.
Well, he was playing different tunes. You know, he's got that very fast tune that he plays pretty consistently, but he just started. Maybe he's listening to A.J. Griffin serenade.
They should get together.
Yeah, I think they could.
Be a great conversation.
I think Barry Zito and A.J. Griffin are going to get together and
As
do
they should.
Some sort of a charity event. Both of them playing the guitar. Yeah, I see. This is a Banjo Man. This is what I'm accustomed to hearing here.
And look, he's got a rally going.
Yeah.
Lowry doesn't get that hit if the Banjo Man's not playing that rally song right there.
And I think Joe Girardi tipped his cap, got the tip from Jabba Chamberlain, and with the man who hit a home run off of Boone Logan of New York will not face the lefty. He'll face the righty instead, and a nice hit by Jed Lowry, the switch hitter.
So Boone Logan faces three hitters, gets one of them out, and the A's trying to get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the seventh inning.
4:15. The pregame event will be held in the Eastside Club from 2:15 to 4:15 p.m. Enjoy tastings from over 30 different microbreweries and live music from Bay Area cover band Pop Rocks. Admission is free with a game ticket. Remember, the beer mug and 2 tastings will be available for $10. Additional tastings will be available for purchase. Must be 21 or older to participate. That will be the Mariners in for the weekend series. Friday night fireworks, beer festival on Saturday. The Raging Gnome giveaway Sunday, so big weekend against the Mariners following this series against the Yankees.
So Chamberlain comes in for the second night in a row. And the A's have 2 on and 1 out, and he will face Donaldson. So 15th appearance for Chamberlain. Spent some time on the disabled list earlier this year. His first pitch is a slider, and Donaldson swings and misses.
It's a case of a hitter looking first pitch fastball, swung, hoping to get it, didn't get it.
Smith at second, Lowry at first, and there's the fastball, 96 miles an hour from Chamberlain.
See how Stewart caught it? Like, ooh, he just kept running.
Donaldson a strikeout, a flyout, and a groundout, so he's 0 for 3 tonight. Big swing and a miss, another 96 mile an hour fastball.
Well, this is a swing and miss on a pitch that he was looking for, and just a long swing, didn't get it. They just didn't make contact on the fastball that he was hoping to get and got it. And let's see if Chamberlain sees the big swing, goes back to the slider. Good curveball, good slider pitcher. Flat bill cap.
Tell you, the Exmo camera on a swing and a miss, it really allows you to see how late a hitter is on a pitch. Timeout called by Donaldson.
Got something in your eye you want to make sure you can see. So take the time, call timeout, get whatever's in your eye out and clear it up.
Good take, and now full count. Fastball just a little bit low.
And it's a great take. He was ready to swing, but it was out of the strike zone.
Runner's not going, and it's a swing and a miss. He went off speed, and he gets Donaldson.
Well, it's hard to believe that you'd get another fastball. Low was the 3-2 or the 2-2 to make it 3-2, and here comes the off-speed pitch. And not surprised that the respect they have for Josh Donaldson, they were not going to challenge him. The amazing thing, the fact the pitch was down, and there's the Exmo showing Donaldson swinging over the off-speed pitch. But that's where if you had a little bit more discipline, of course you wanted to drive in the run, but have a little bit more, you could take it, load the bases with 1 out.
So here's Reddick, who takes the strike, 0-1. Does he hold up? Yes, he does. Remember, Ichiro still has the very strong arm in right field.
A hard slider. Josh Reddick. It's where the body goes forward, but the bat stays back.
Off the plate, 95 miles an hour. and stuff is, looks like it was 3-4 years ago.
Well, he's the point that he will use his fastball when he's ahead of the count, but he falls behind when the hitter's looking fastball. He's confident enough with his off-speed pitches that he'll use them.
2-2. Nice block by Stewart. Stewart he's very good back there. That one bounced quite a ways out in front of him.
And that's what the pitcher likes, the confidence to throw the pitch, knowing that catcher's going to block the ball that bounces that far out in front of the plate, which means that he can throw it again with a couple of strikes. And also throw it with the runner at third, but Josh Donaldson would not like, or Josh Reddick would like to have the runner continue to pass third and score on a base hit.
3-2 pitch is bounced right side, and Teixeira's going to have to hustle, and they just got him at first.
And a run would have scored if he'd have been called safe.
So a very close play. It was just a high chopper. Teixeira kind of took his time, and it ends up CB Bucknor calls Reddick out at first. You be the judge. Sports California is brought to you by Evergood Sausage Company. Another good, tight, entertaining game tonight at the O.Co Coliseum, with the A's leading the Yankees 3-2, top of the 8th inning.
Remember the old spring training exercise with the pitchers, the PFPs, pitcher fundamental practice? I'm going to show you why it's so important for pitchers to work on covering first base. Play that ended the last inning.
Doolittle stays in there as he faces Gardner, Cano, and Teixeira, the top of the order.
Ryan Cook, although it's lefty-lefty switch, left, right. So Ryan Cook, magnificent job on the pregame ceremonies. Getting loose in the bullpen.
Gardner foul tip, and he's behind in the count 0-2.
A great slider, called strike, good fastball, swing and miss. So a couple of options for the A's lefty.
Swing and a miss. He blew it right by him. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts for Doolittle.
Watch the left foot of Java Chamberlain. The left foot's closest to you. It's off the bag. Watch the right foot as Josh Reddick hits the bag. And he is safe. He is safe. But the left foot maybe is what C.B. Buckner saw. But watch the left foot. It's not even close to the bag. Josh Reddick hits the bag. Chamberlain's not on the bag yet. So he is safe. But that's how close it was. And I don't know if C.B. Buckner saw the left foot, thought he had already tagged it with the left foot, which he did not. Because in looking at the replay, he was safe. Jabba Chamberlain got his footwork messed up a little bit. And that's a run for the A's because Seth Smith was on the move.
First pitch to Cano is a slider down and away. Cano has reached on an air, popped out, and singled. Yankees single run in the 6th, single run in the 7th. And now the count is 1-1. The Mariners scored a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. They lead 1-0 over the Astros going to the 9th. It was a shutout last night for Seattle, and they're trying to do it again tonight. And that is foul. Not by much. Broken bat.
I remember last night he flared one down the left field line, ended up getting a double. And I referenced Hall of Famer Rod Carew earlier, and Rod Carew just all wrists. And this is kind of the same for Cano. He uses the whole field. Tough to defend him. Unfortunately, that ball just foul. As Donaldson was not going to get to it, it would have been an easy double. Rod Carew, best place to pitch, he was right down the middle. Because he could do a lot of things with his magical one, and Cano is kind of in the same category.
1-2 pitch, high fastball, stays alive. So Doolittle struck out Stewart to end the 7th, struck out Gardner leading off the 8th. Switch hitting Teixeira is waiting in the on-deck circle. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. Setting up outside. And it's fouled again. So Cano walks all the way around the batter's box.
Remember the at bat by Adam Dunn. A lot of fastballs. Fastballs finally froze him with a slider. Cano and Adam Dunn, two different types of hitters. Cano can make contact. Adam Dunn, big, strong, does strike out a lot.
Another foul ball on a high fastball.
Time Jaso put his glove up as he was given the sign, but he never gave the high target. That's an exceptional pitcher who can know where the pitch is supposed to be thrown and not get a target and still hit the location.
So finally, Robinson Cano is ready to hit. The 1-2 pitch, broken bat, little flare. Donaldson makes the running catch in foul territory. 2 outs here in the 8th.
Carney Lansford, A's third baseman, Eric Chavez, you name them. They have played great third base here at the Coliseum with a lot of foul territory. And Josh Donaldson knows he has plenty of room, does not have to worry about anything except hit on the baseball, going after it, and making a catch to rob and take the bat out of the hand of Robinson Cano. That's a big bat to take out with an out in foul territory.
So here's Teixeira. And he drives one to center. Young going back, and he's got just enough room, and he makes the catch. Side retired. So Doolittle retires all 4 hitters he faces. Bottom of the 8th coming up. regulars. Second inning. Brandon Moss. Ichiro tries to fool us. Doesn't work. That's a home run for Moss. 2-0. A's get another run in the 5th inning. Jaso with an RBI double. That scores Sogard. 3-0. Another great start for Dan Straily. Well, the starters for the A's have been phenomenal. 6 2/3 innings, gives up just 3 hits and 2 runs. The Yankees, as they did last night, battle back. Nix with a 2-out single in the 7th to make it 3-2. That's where we're at, heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-3-0 for the Yankees. 3-5-1 for the Athletics. So the A's looking for their 10th consecutive win here at the Coliseum. They're 19-10 at home. And they lead 3-2 with Moss leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th against Jabba Chamberlain.
Well, he's getting loose again in the bullpen. It is Grant Balfour.
Fastball fouled straight back. 0-2. Chamberlain faced 2 hitters in the 7th inning and get out of a 1st and 2nd 1-out jam. Foul back. That game in Seattle has gotten interesting, Ray. The Astros have loaded the bases with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, with the Mariners leading 1-0.
Wilhelmsen?
Yeah, the bartender, Tom Wilhelmsen, is in, but he's in trouble. So the Astros trying for comeback. They're just trying to score a run. They haven't done it in 2 games. 0-2 pitch, down and in. Just 8 hits total in this game. The Yankees only have 3. The A's have 5. It's been Hughes, Kelly, Logan, and now Chamberlain. Popped up, should reach the seats, and it will. So Moss steps back in. And another foul ball. Well, Ray, we want to send out a get well and we're thinking about you note to Mickey Adza, who is the father of our terrific director Tom Adza. Mickey's had a little procedure done, but we know Mickey. He's a gamer, and he's going to be fine. So we want to wish him good luck, right. Mickey Adza.
That's great.
And he's had to put up with Tommy his whole life. You know, Tommy's, you know, he's tough to deal with sometimes. Director.
You know, if he's got the name Adza, though, he's a gamer.
Oh,
you know, so no doubt about that. So I think that's.
I hope he's watching. We hope he's watching. Good battle here between Moss and Chamberlain. 2-2. Breaking ball rolled foul. Astros just got a 2-run double from Chris Carter to take the lead in Seattle 2-1. Still batting. So lots of pitching in that game as well. But Wilhelmsen could not save it. Not close, and it's 3-2. And here's the kind of at-bats we were talking about earlier in the game, Ray. It's 0-2, now it's 3-2. Moss has fouled off a bunch of pitches.
Fouled off 4. So it's pitch number 10 coming up.
And a breaking ball is hit hard, foul.
Well, that's kind of the pattern for Chamberlain in this game tonight, at least, where when he is needed to strike out, or at least whenever he figures the hitter has the count in his favor, might be looking fastball to a slider. Brandon Moss also hit an off-speed pitch a long way earlier.
And he hits that one a long way. Center field and deep. Gardner's looking up, and that baby is gone. 4-2 Athletics. What a great at-bat for Brandon Moss. Wow.
That's not a bad bookend. Home run, first at-bat, home run. What could be his last at-bat on a 3-2 fastball. 10th pitch. Exmo, great swing. What a great contact. Eyes on the baseball, straightaway center on the fastball. And that ball cleared the center field fence. And how many times in the same game can you have 11 pitch at bat, a 10 pitch at bat, both get on base and both go to Francesco? They'll go together. That was a great at bat, though.
So Young is retired.
You know, just enough foul ball.
Now batting second baseman, number 28, Aaron.
That actually was the 11th pitch in the at bat. So 11 pitch at bat for both Smith and Brandon Moss. And the amazing thing for him to see all the breaking pitches, and had to be thinking, so one of the 3-2 pitches was a slider that he pulled foul, and then comes right back with a fastball and is all over it. But his power, straightaway center, that's been special last year and this year to see Brandon Moss. And somewhere is Scranton Balfour has gotten at least one insurance run, a 2-run lead off the A's. So as we saw Gordon Ash, the Philadelphia Phillies great scout, he keeps saying, what has happened to Brandon Moss? Because he was a Philly, and what a change it has been for Brandon Moss coming to the A's.
And there's a base hit to left field for Sogard. Sogard has his first hit, but he's been on base 3 times. He's walked a couple times.
Fastball away, and he just serves it. What a great job of serving the ball to the opposite field. So Eric Sogard, and you're going to see Esperota's pitching tomorrow, then a lefty on Friday, but Sogard's probably going to get a lot of playing time with all the right-handers due to pitch against the A's. The Shears probably say, now, last time you got on, a couple of bats you took off. You can't do that this time. Took off and walked into second.
So 0-1 the count to Fryman. A's with a chance to grab first place all to themselves in the AL West tonight. Fryman is 0 for 3. Swings and misses that breaking ball from Chamberlain. Fryman stands well off the plate. And he drives this one to center, but room for Gardner as he's back and now into right center. He's got it for out number 2. So day baseball tomorrow to wrap up this series. Rookie Kuroda having a nice season against Jared Parker. And it'll be A's pregame live at noon and then the ball game at 12:35. So Kuroda the righty, Parker the righty. Day baseball. And then the A's will get set to host the Seattle Mariners over the weekend. The Yankees, they will head to Anaheim to take on the Angels.
We saw the note about Brandon Moss' third career 2-home-run game. Remember earlier, the 19-inning game, he had a 2-home-run game. That was against Hansen, and then the walk-off in the 19th inning against Enright.
Sogard, a monstrous jump. No problem stealing his second base. And if you had a list of greatest jumps trying to steal a base in Major League history, Sogard may be 1 and 2 tonight.
I mean, he took off. His Chamberlain came in a set position.
And his steal in the 5th inning was even better.
Yeah. I still said the best thing that we have seen, Nate Fryman and now John Jaso with the kind of jumps, and Jaso's a left-handed hitter. But maybe he heard everybody yelling and thinking that something was happening, so he took the pitch, as did Fryman.
And Cano can't get it. That's a base hit. Here comes Sogard. He will score. And how about that? A's play long ball and they play small ball in this inning and get 2 runs. That's why they're very good.
Well, the runner at second, a fastball in, and John Jaso gets the base hit just past Cano. So the stolen base, the no-look stolen base again. So that's 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored by Sogard.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming into pitch for the
Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. All the baseball highlights, reports from 49ers and Raiders minicamps, and Tiger and the U.S. Open, weather permitting. David Feldman, Ahmed Fareed will host. Preston Claiborne comes in. Claiborne pitched last night, 1 inning through 15 pitches. He's back out there tonight. The numbers for Claiborne, and they're good. No walks, 15 strikeouts in 19 innings. Claiborne, fastball foul back.
fact, we know the importance of a manager. Of course, he puts out the lineup card. He makes the tough decisions on whether a pitcher is going to be removed or not. But in this game tonight, as Neshek joins Balfour, last inning, remember when the left-hander Boone Logan started and John Jaso stayed in the game. But Jaso was not removed from pinch hitter. And as it turns out, Jaso ends up facing the right-hander Chamberlain with a runner in scoring position and drives him in. If he comes out, then it's righty on righty. And that's just the difference of when to pinch hit, when to not. Leave a guy in, know the bullpen, who's available, and what the opposing team has in the bullpen. And while that move might have been saying, well, you've been pinch hitting, why not put Norris in? But decision was made, and it's turned out, it worked out.
Well, and in this situation, the Yankees only have one left-hander in their bullpen.
And he was burnt in the seventh inning.
In the seventh.
Yeah,
that's right. All part of being a good manager. You got to think 2-3 innings ahead.
And that's the key. That is the absolute key of that. Because good managers don't think about the pitch being thrown. They think about innings in advance of, and if I do pinch hit now and then bring righty in, is that righty who I put in is going to have to face a righty versus, in this case, Jaso facing Chamberlain. So great call there. 2 big runs in this inning. Trying to get more.
3-1 pitch, and Smith tried to hold up, could not do it.
Just a big swing. He's looking fastball, middle of the plate in, and got it away. Just kept running away from him.
So full count. Jaso will take off on the pitch. And it's off the plate, and that's another walk. That is 9 walks issued by the Yankees tonight.
Seth Smith got a base hit to left field, thrown out at second. Since then, he's walked 4 times.
Number 8, Jed Lowry.
So he's got a perfect night.
Yes, he does.
The Astros have scored 5 times in the top of the 9th inning, and they're still batting in Seattle. They lead 5-1. That's one of those games where the Mariners, you think this is going to be great. We're going to win this game 1-0. That's all our closer has to do, shut the door. 10 minutes later, you're asking yourself, what the heck just happened? Oh, 1 to Lowry. Walk, double play, fielder's choice, and a single. So Lowry's been on base 3 times tonight. Well, the A's have had base runners in every inning except the 4th.
What's great about tonight, start the game with Cespedes and Crisp nursing some leg injuries from last night. Josh Reddick hustled actually last inning. Maybe should have had a run, but hustled, just barely called out at first base. Cespedes sitting, A's leading.
An 0-2 pitch. Lowry swings and misses. Couple of runs for the A's. The first one, Boss's home run, second of the night. So we're headed to the 9th. It's the A's 5 and the Yankees 2.
Time now for the AT&T Universe Rewind. Dan Straily started the game, and it's his game right now. And pitched very well, very aggressively. A couple of innings. He threw about 15 pitches total. Throws Hafner, 3-2 slider there. And Dan Straily, 6 2/3 innings. And guess who's coming in? That's where it stands right now. He's 2 big runs in the 8th inning to give them a 3-run lead.
So Straily, 86 pitches. Gives up just the 2 runs, only 3 hits and 1 walk. So he's in line to get his 4th win of the year, and it'll be up to the closer, Grant Balfour. How about the job of Sean Doolittle? An inning in the 3rd. No hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So Doolittle does his thing, and here comes Balfour. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Balfour got a save last night, and he'll try to get number 17 tonight. He is the only closer in the American League that does not have a blown save this year. Feels like about 5 years since he blew a save.
How about April of last year?
There you go. Hafner, Wells, and Youkilis. That's who Balfour will try to get through. First pitch, right there, first strike. Save leaders in the American League. Rivera at the top with Johnson, and then Nathan, Reed, and Balfour. Wilhelmsen just blew a save in Seattle. So 0-1 the count to Hafner, who is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out. So 1-1. Hafner is the guy that Balfour faced last night for the final out, but the final out came right at the left center field wall. Hafner with that open stance. And he tried to hold up on a pitch that was way inside, and he fouled it, so the count 1-2. Hafner is 0 for 6 in the series, and he's a little frustrated by that. You see how far inside this pitch was.
Well, he just barely got his bat on it.
The high fastball did Jaso, but it was a bit too high. 2-2 the count. Yankees with a hit in the 2nd, a hit in the 6th, a hit in the 7th. Just 3 hits in the game. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a breaking ball, and that's out number 1.
Well, it's been interesting for Balfour going back to Chicago. One Adam Dunn. Remember this one? And how about left field? Fastball way back. Hawk had it going out. Cespedes caught it. And then the last week, Friday night, Josh Reddick actually brought this one back. And Balfour said thank you. And then last night, another one deep to left field. Seth Smith near the wall. Brought it back. Just ho-hum. I think Balfour's heart was beating fast those 3 games, but they were out. And tonight, a 3-run lead in the 9th inning.
So 1-0 to Vernon Wells, who has grounded out twice and struck out. Numbers for Wells against Balfour. Popped up right side. Sogard out. 2 outs. So Wells 0 for 4. And the A's 1 out away from making it 2 straight over the Yankees here at the Coliseum. And grabbing first place to themselves in the AL West. So Youkilis steps in. He's been hit by a pitch and he scored a run in the 7th. First pitch is right at the knees on the outside corner for a strike. A's post-game live coming up. Guys will break it down from the studio. We'll have a player interview from here at the Coliseum. And then back at it tomorrow afternoon with our coverage of the 3rd and final game of this series. Starts at noon here at Comcast Sportsnet California. High pop-up. Foul territory and into the seats. So 0-2. Balfour trying to wrap it up for Straily. Everybody on their feet, over 25,000 tonight. 0-2 pitch is just a bit inside, not by much.
Well, after featuring away and then the fastball in, that's how close it was. And Youkilis close to the plate, but Dale Scott looking right down the barrel of the home plate, the inside part.
One-two pitch in the dirt, and now 2-2. Balfour up on top of the rubber. Setting up inside, and it is a touch inside. Full count to Youkilis. Ichiro would be next.
Yeah, Scott had the delay strike call. You're just kind of hoping he steps back and rings him out, but does not. Look at him looking over the right shoulder. Dale Scott getting the protection from the catcher and the hitter on a fastball inside.
And a 3-2 breaking ball, and it's outside. So the Yankees still alive in this one.
Youkilis swung at a bad breaking ball way out of strike zone against Straily, but would not do it against Balfour.
Now batting, number 31, Ichiro.
So Ichiro will hit. Jason Nix is the on-deck hitter. Ichiro singled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 5th, grounded out again in the 7th. And he rolls that one foul.
That's amazing. And every time we see a 9th inning, the difference in a 1-run game. Remember those games we showed, Grant Balfour came close. He had the tying run on base. Actually, last night, Hafner, that was a game which A's had a 6-0 lead, but came down to the last batter being the tying run at the plate. So a little bit easier, the 3-run lead in the 9th inning.
A 1 pitch, and that's lined over the head of Lowry, and it's a base hit. So Ichiro's 2 for 4. Well, the Yankees get the tying run to the plate with 2 outs here in the 9th. So more drama for Grant Balfour. But he's been able to get the job done.
All the more reason to appreciate a 3-run lead. Ichiro just magically serving another one out. That's a couple of hits for him tonight. A couple of ground outs and 2 opposite field hits.
Lyle Overbay.
That's right.
Remember we talked about
That's right.
burning a player, meaning putting him in the game and then pinch hitting for the pinch hitter. Usually doesn't come back to haunt you in the American League. This could be a spot where you would want to use it. So Nix to hit. Chris Stewart is the on-deck hitter.
Actually, right now, Donaldson guarding the line for no doubles. Just one extra base hit down the line would open up a big hole between third and short. Trying to get the 27th out and opening up a big gap on the left side.
And the pitch is a breaking ball in for a strike.
There's the hole. And
so 0-1. Nix is 1 for 3 at a 2-out RBI single in the 7th inning. He's got 1 home run on the year. Missed outside. Balfour last night, he only needed to get 1 out for the save, and that 1 out was the long fly ball after he came in the middle of the inning
with the 4-run lead.
With the 4-run at the time. Balfour grabs it, throws to first, and that's the ball game. So Balfour has to work hard again, but he gets the save, his 17th. Straily gets the win, his 4th, and the A's have made it 2 in a row with a 5-2 win over the Yankees. So the A's have won 10 in a row at home. They are now 40-27, and they sit alone in first place in the American League's Western Division. 5-2 is your final. A's over the Yankees. You've been watching A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Scott Reese and Bip Roberts starts right now.